Welcome back to episode 13 of the Moms That Read podcast. I'm Kaylee.
I'm Katarina.
And I'm McKenzie. And for this episode, we're going to be talking all things Binding 13. It is our lucky number 13th episode.
That was ironic.
Yeah.
Not
and
intentional.
I mean, it's Taylor Swift's favorite number. So, I mean, this must be a really
Obviously.
good episode. But, like, getting down into all the things Binding 13, it's blowing up on TikTok right now.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd take a stab at it and
Yeah.
experience it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
a
talk
lot.
recent reads first, and
Yeah,
then we'll jump
definitely.
into it.
Definitely.
So I finished Blood Over Brighthaven. I kind of talked about it in the last episode, but basically, like, dark academia, political. Basically, it's this guy who is from this, like, outer world who they have a major, like, disease happening, and so he flees and comes to the main world, essentially, and meets this girl who is trying to get into the, like, high magistracy of their, like, government. And then they find out that the government is, like, highly corrupt, and it is their goal to, like, uncover all the corruption in the government. So I thought it was interesting.
That
Yeah,
sounds interesting.
it's all magic. Like, she is doing it to, like, become a magical magistrate. So
Right.
they're using magic to uncover all this. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I liked it.
I read the Book of Azriel, which I have also seen all over TikTok.
Definitely.
And it is like a dark romantasy. And I loved it. I've never read a dark romantasy before, though.
Was it
So-
super dark?
I wouldn't say it was super dark, but it was definitely darker than your typical romantasy.
So, like, dark in atmosphere or dark in content?
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
Both. And it was kind of like a forbidden love with they're both kind of morally gray, to be honest.
Interesting.
But she's
What's her
like,
name? What's her name? Do you remember?
girl, I just
Never
read
mind.
it.
Sorry,
You
I was just
should not have
curious.
asked
Hold
me.
on.
He's Liam, right?
He's Liam, and why can I not remember her name right now? Because I literally just finished this book.
I thought you didn't understand. what I said.
Diana.
Oh, okay.
Diana.
Oh,
Okay.
Princess Di.
And
Interesting.
it's so sweet. He definitely like falls way first and so hard.
I
And
kind of like
I
when
he's
that
like,
happens. I think it's
he's
Yeah.
like this big broody god who like
oh,
does not love anybody, distances himself from everybody, but she helps him work through a bunch of PTSD.
Huh.
And so he ends up falling for her. And then I think I sent you, was it you that I sent?
Send it to me. Yeah, the quote.
He said, I don't remember when it happened, but I realized I'd burned down the world for her. And I was like, yes.
Oh my God.
That's like
Love it.
Zayden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
All the
was
way.
so
I love that.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he did.
Oh.
He did.
Nice.
Well, I'm making my trek through Donut Glass. I'm on Queen of Shadows. And
Oh.
I'm about 25% of the way done.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I miss Rowan
Yeah.
so much. Does he come back in this book at all? Like, is that a
I
spoiler?
honestly don't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, what part are you at, though?
I'm at the part where she just rescued Adian.
Okay.
I love Adian.
Yeah, I think he does come back
Me too.
toward the end of the book.
I love him, but I'm just.
Adian's
I don't
one of my
remember
favorite
when
side
he comes
characters.
back.
He's one of my favorite side
Really?
characters. Mm-hmm.
I'm really liking Lysandra right now.
Yeah, I was about to say she's more of my favorite than he is.
There was just like a
Who-
whole
wait,
plot
Lysandra?
bomb. There's a whole plot bomb right now happening in the witch side of the world
Okay.
with the maid.
Oh.
When I listened to that today, I was like,
I
oh my
can't
gosh,
remember.
I'll have to mention it later so
Yeah.
that I don't give any spoilers. But I'm excited. My goal is to try and finish all of them, but by the end of the school year.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like listening to them, I think I can do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like I've been telling myself I can get through Queen of Shadows, and then I'm like, I have less to read than I've read of
Yeah.
the series. So
Then we can
And
do
then-
a whole episode
I was gonna say,
on
and then
all
we-
of them.
We can read Kingdom of
Yes,
Ash
I-
together and then
oh.
do an episode.
I'll do a reread.
Oh, that's exciting. That's awesome. So we also know what our next book is for next
Yeah.
month.
Yes.
So
I'm excited.
drum roll. Mackenzie, you go. It's
Oh.
your birthday.
Oh, true. Trial of the Sun Queen.
Trial of the Sun
This
Queen.
book came across a TikTok, and I can't remember whose it was, but it was like, what is a book that you were hooked in less than 50 pages? And this was one of them. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Katherine Heigl has been doing like a whole playlist on
Yeah.
TikTok
Really?
about her obsession over these books.
Yeah.
How many are there?
I reposted
4.
it.
Oh, is it done?
Yeah, it's completed.
Okay. That's good to know.
So, yeah, I'm like, if she loves it, I don't even know. Like, I don't think she posts a lot about books. Period.
Right.
She has been, because I looked at her
Really?
page after you said that, and like the next to last, or the most recent post
Yeah.
she posted was about some book.
Oh, huh.
So she has entered.
I wonder if
book
this
talk.
has
Michael.
I do
if
too.
what if this is like the book that brought her into that? You know, and
be
we're about to
great.
read it. So I'm excited. I think it'll be good. I've heard it's like Bachelor meets fantasy.
Yeah, Akatar meets Bachelor.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
But with
Sign
instead
me
of
up.
like dating, there's games and trials.
Oh, it's gonna be so
I'm so
good.
excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Good pick.
So if you want to read that with us, go join our Fable.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be a good one for real.
Nice. So Binding 13.
Oh, good. Binding 13.
What did y'all rate it?
I gave it a 5.
I did too.
I gave it a 4. But also, it was a lot for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't give it a 5.
There were a couple things, like, I don't know that I would tell anyone to read it, because there was some
No,
content in
no.
there that was like major trigger warnings, but also the language was really rough.
The language was very.
Oh my
It was a
gosh.
lot, and the 1-star reviews that I read, a lot of people didn't like the language, and I just had to keep reminding myself that it was
High school boy.
17-year-old kids, and it's
She-
in Ireland, which
She
is
had a really clean mouth. It was him.
she did, yeah, but like. In Ireland, it's a very cultural thing to just use cuss words like that. Like that is,
is.
it's
It's just a
not.
thing.
It doesn't phase them
Yeah.
in the way that we use
Or like-
language like that.
Yeah.
So it is very different. Like I had to keep reminding myself.
I had to
of
push through that part because I was.
Yeah.
Well, I kept
There's
reading
a
it in
lot.
an Irish accent.
too.
Like I would read it and
That's hilarious.
in my head. I'm just like,
definitely-
I need to pull up a line because like that's what was happening in my head the whole
Yeah.
time.
That's funny.
And I have probably a really bad Irish accent in my head,
Can
but
you
like
please
that's
show me your
no,
accent?
no,
So
no, I
funny.
cannot. But thank you for trying
That is
to get me to do that.
hilarious.
Yeah,
I think outside of that, I loved everything.
Yeah, I would definitely say look at the trigger warnings because it was very heavy.
I think I told
Did
you
I
that, and you're
miss
like, no,
those?
no, it'll be fine.
Well, no, I mean like I read it fine, but I also know I processed like a lot of my trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But like even without having gone through a lot of what that book has gone through,
It was
it's
heavy.
still a lot.
It was
It was
heavy.
very heavy.
And like I don't think people realize like how heavy it is because
That
it goes
last
into
scene-
detail.
very.
Yeah, it's very detailed, which I think is the hard thing to read.
Yes, it's
you
not
know?
just like mentioning it.
Right.
Like it's walking you through every bit of
Exactly.
it.
I think the hardest part too, like what her dad did was horrible, obviously, and that was hard to read. I think it was harder to read what her mom was doing
Yes.
in response to that.
The
Like,
mom is the problem.
the mom is 100% the problem.
Yes, the dad, but like the mom
Could have left.
is an enabler, and is 100% a part of the problem, and she
Yep.
is still infuriating me in the second book. Like I'm reading Keeping 13, and it is frustrating because
She's
I'm
disgusting.
like, she is the problem.
When
For-
you get to that part, I would really like for you to text me immediately.
About the end of,
Oh
Yeah.
gosh,
I would be mad if she dies. Is that awful?
Ugh, I hated her.
understand her.
I think honestly,
Close
like
my eyes and not saying anything.
the last scene where like
Oh, I wonder. Okay, never mind.
So Binding 13, not keeping.
yeah, sorry. I don't know what y'all are talking about. The last scene where she literally like picked between her and the husband. That I like literally felt sick
Yes.
after. Like I was shaking. I was like, I am so disturbed by that. And like what he did was disturbing,
Yes.
but I wasn't as disturbed by that as I was her
Yeah.
choosing him over the kids.
Right.
And
And
especially when they had the
she's-
little
and she's
boy
done it
standing in the corner, like
Multiple
shaking.
times. She's done it multiple times. Like
Yes.
choosing.
And then to
him
be the
over
one
them.
that like was the way she was to Johnny,
Yeah.
who was literally the only one protecting your daughter.
Right.
It was sickening.
Joey was also good.
I loved
loved
Joey. I
Joey.
didn't.
And
When he
apparently-
left, though, I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you kidding me?"
Okay, so my friend, she's on the last book, and she said that Joey
Yeah,
and
Aoife.
Aoife's story is beautiful, and there's so much that's talked about in Joey's story that we don't see.
Erica with the CK hated those two books.
I love
Really?
Aoife.
Yeah, but I loved both of them.
Yeah.
I thought
I
Joey
really
was
loved
like
them.
the perfect brother,
Yes.
with the exception of that one.
Well, see, and I know like Joey was the oldest one there because
Darren's
gone.
Yeah.
was gone. So like I was Joey my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I wasn't Shannon. I was Joey.
Right.
And I had 3 younger siblings. So, like...
I wonder if that's why you were a little more able to read this.
Yeah, because I mean...
You weren't Shannon.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I was 2 Shannon, but I was just the oldest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't know if I could have read that
I
book if I had that background. It was so heavy.
I like it. The whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, I imagine these as my kids that I teach. And like, part of me was almost like desensitized to it because like my kids go through these things. And like, I know the home life they come from.
Yeah.
But that's also why those scenes also like made me cry every time because like, it's
like,
in
I
a
know
situation
this.
where like, yes, like you're aware and like, it's not like the abusive side of it, but like just their home life in general.
I
Like,
wonder.
I can't do anything about it.
I wonder if Chloe Walsh wrote this about her.
Like, I wonder what her
life.
experience
Yeah.
is with
Because
it.
I feel like you couldn't write this raw emotion about something
Right.
like this if
No.
you didn't have
If you didn't go
some
through it.
kind of something relating to it.
No, I
you know?
agree.
Okay, and a little backstory. I feel like now's a good time to plug it. They were asking me after we had finished it if I thought that the way Shannon was portrayed was
Accurate.
like accurate or if she overdid it. And no, it was absolutely 100% accurate. And I'm questioning that too because I don't think you can get those feelings unless you know someone directly who
has
was gone through it
Right.
or like you yourself have gone through it. And I know, like, I think I saw a bunch of reviews that said like maybe she was being whiny or like I know she threw up a lot because of anxiety, but no, those are very real and valid feelings. Like when you spend your whole life scared to do any small thing wrong at home, like you live your whole life petrified and like trying to do extra stuff so like you don't get in trouble or like making sure you don't do the wrong thing and you do everything right so you don't suffer those consequences. Like you build, that's why I have so many issues now with my anxiety because like that's my whole childhood. And like I know nobody listening to this podcast knows me in real life, but I had a literal binding 13 childhood, but like probably a little bit worse. So yeah. But my mom got me out of it. She, you know, so me and my siblings.
Right.
So it was different in that aspect.
Yeah.
Because she left and never looked back. But for years, we still went through it. I saw her get hit and like it's still like very real trauma, but I think it was very well portrayed. Like it was accurate.
Yeah.
So,
and even just like going off of like the whole idea, like she had to have had some sort of connection to it because of it's just not. I don't think the research could have portrayed every little thought that Shannon was having.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that was almost like identical to like what actually happens like within your brain, and so I do think she has like a personal connection to it. I'd be interested to go like search her, and see like if she talks about it.
What I did find interesting though is that Johnny knew none of this, and she came off like a scared little like child, and he was still like, "There's something about her," you know what I mean? Despite knowing nothing,
and of course, his first thought was because he read the file, like something's happening at school, something's at school. Like he wouldn't have imagined that something was happening at home, especially if you've not been exposed to that. Like you're not thinking about.
And he
that.
had a fantastic family.
Yeah.
Like
oh my gosh.
They weren't around, which I didn't like.
I really have come to like them though.
His mom was fantastic, so sweet.
The dad's great too.
Yeah, he's good too.
Yeah,
In the next book.
I was gonna say
they're both great in the next book. But I will say, like, most of the time you hide it as best you can because you don't want people asking questions because most of the time our system is so screwed up they don't do anything about it.
No.
And so
or they split the kids up and
then it gets worse at home when they find out that you've said something or shown something, and so you would just rather keep your mouth shut, or they've made threats.
Like I've never had to, because like as a teacher I'm a mandated reporter.
Correct.
And I've never had to report like that level of abuse, but like the neglect that we see also happening in the home, like neglect is swept under the rug, and I'm like,
So
this
bad.
kid, like he should not be living this way.
Yeah.
And there's multiple siblings living this way. Like thankfully have never had to see like the physical part of it, but just the neglect side of it, and that's completely looked
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
See, my mom's a teacher also, and I don't think she's ever had to report that kind of neglect, and nor would my teachers have ever guessed that we had that kind of
Right.
upbringing.
Right.
Because like if you're with somebody like that, they're very skilled most of the time and know how to hide it or like hit you where it hurts where nobody can see.
Yeah.
Like emotionally bring you down and stuff like that, and emotionally
narcissistic
scare you
and-
enough
Yeah.
to where you don't say anything. So like I told Katarina I was never the one to say anything. My sister
Right.
is the one
Right.
who
I remember you
finally
talking
yeah.
about that.
And so if it wasn't for her, we probably
Was she Shannon?
She was okay. So this is bad, but we were very young, like when all of this happened. So I was like 7 to 10. My little sister was 3. So I got the brunt end of all of it. Yeah.
And it makes sense at that age. You're more willing, like if someone asks, like you're just gonna tell them straight up. Like
Yeah.
when at your age, you can think
Yeah.
more through it and like make a choice
Yeah.
based on what you know could happen in the end.
That's crazy.
I do think it was. I think it was something that like this book has gotten so much traction, and I think people don't end up liking it because they think it's going to be this like wholehearted romance, even though it truly
it's
is
not.
like a romance because you see like Johnny's love for Shannon. But I do think this is an interesting take on it, and it sheds a lot of light on
Yeah.
like because unfortunately that's the case for a lot of families, and it doesn't matter what your background is, like that still happens.
Yeah.
And the whole bullying part also just like made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Just the fact that like that even happens today, and people seriously hurt themselves because of just how mean people can be.
Well, and I hate the whole bullying thing in general because people overuse it. But then when it actually is a thing,
Yeah.
people sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, they're picking on me. But it's like, no, some people are actually like legitimately
Right.
bullied.
Like they cut her hair. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if the scene I'm thinking about was in the first or the second book.
That's why I waited to start just in case.
But I had to know.
Did you? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to say we got asked a question on our Instagram, which was, did we jump right into
Yeah.
Oh,
keeping 13?
immediately.
JillyNet89 said,
I
did you
did.
jump right into it?
I did. At 1 a.m. I was like, I got to read the first line.
I personally didn't want to continue reading it.
Yeah.
So I spark notes it and
Yeah.
just read like the gist of what happened in the book. Like kind of chapter by chapter it summarized it.
Yeah.
And I finished that like immediately after I read the book. Yeah.
She also said, if not, how did you have the willpower to not pick it up?
Katarina.
And I have not, partly because we were doing this and I didn't want to get them confused,
Yeah.
but also it was such a heavy book that I needed a break. But also I jumped into Great Alone after, which is also domestic abuse, but like that was not intentional.
Yeah.
So that was really weird to like have two similar concept stories back to back. So then after that, I was like, I just read 2 of these really heavy books. I can't read Keeping 13 right now.
Yeah.
So like, I'll probably read that in the next month or so, but I needed a break.
Yeah.
I
will
what
say-
are you, go ahead.
No, sorry. I will say it gets more lighthearted.
I figured
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
going to have a happy ending, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I've been told they end on a good note. But
Each
like,
duet does.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay, that leads me into my question. Like, what are your thoughts on having it span across 2 books? There was a lot
This
of
could have
detail,
straight up been one book.
You think? Because she does this repetitively. Like, it's
Stop it right in the middle.
Binding 13, keeping 13, and then like
The sixes.
and they're together. So it's like over a span of 2 books.
Yeah.
My
I
question.
I
oh,
wish
go
it
ahead.
would have just been like
One big
Like
book.
one book.
Yeah.
But what would you have taken out?
I mean, honestly,
had a big book.
it was kind of repetitive on the abuse. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
we read the same abuse multiple times.
That's
like,
true.
we knew she got abused.
Right.
You didn't have to do 57 scenes.
Yeah,
of it.
that's true.
So, you know,
My question is, are the 6s and the 7s happening at the same time, or are they subsequent?
Okay, so
Does that make sense? Does that
know.
question make sense?
okay, so there was something that happened in the second book of Keeping 13.
Okay.
And I asked my friend Megan about it, and I was like, do you ever find out the answer to this question
Yeah.
about Gibbsy and Claire?
I love
I
them.
love Kipsy
I
and
love
Claire.
them.
Okay, so I asked her a
She's
question.
precious.
She is precious, and I love her. But I was like, do you ever find out the answer to that? And she was like, oh my gosh, like it hasn't come up because it goes back and forth because it goes over their relationship starting as children. And
So,
it'll flash
wait,
back and
who?
forth.
Gibsy
and Claire.
Okay.
So she was like, I don't know. She was like, I forgot about
And the
that
sevens
scene
aren't
in
done
Keeping
yet.
13. And she was like, they have not brought that back
Was
up
it
yet.
a joke? Whenever he was joking?
When her mom called.
Oh. I don't know.
When they were at Johnny's house.
Possibly.
From Binding 13 or Keeping?
Keeping 13.
Okay.
It's like in Keeping 13, but she was like, it still hasn't been brought back up.
Interesting.
Because they keep alluding to the situation in Keeping 13.
Well, in the sixes, it's Joey and Eva. But they were dating at the beginning, like before Binding
Yes.
13.
I
So
don't
is it their
know.
whole relationship?
She
Because
said
then it's going to overlap some.
it will, and she said you find out a lot more from Joey's perspective because like Joey's left out of like, especially Shannon's like biggest thing is like nobody is taking care of Joey, and so a lot more is shown, and I think it goes through like his whole situation and like
I love Johnny's
working up
mom in Keeping 13.
I do too.
Yeah.
Does it talk more about Darren?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I
what
don't think I
figured.
like him.
I don't like him.
I don't think I like him.
Based on what has happened in Binding 13, I don't like him either.
I do not think I
Nothing
enjoy
has
him.
liked me made me like him at all.
Nope. He was an enabler is what he was.
Oh.
He enabled his mom and his dad, really.
And then left.
And then left.
And then left all the kids.
Pissed me
I
off.
could not do that.
Anyways. No, I did not like him.
Okay, so we have character development, themes and messages, romance and relationships, writing style and structure, and personal reflection. So what category do you want?
Let's do characters because we're kind of talking about that right now.
All right. Johnny is portrayed as both a confident rugby star and a boy with struggles of his own. How does his character challenge or reinforce stereotypes of athletes?
Well, one, he was sweet.
Yeah.
I thought
And
he
took
was
up
really
for her.
sweet. Yeah.
A lot whenever she was bullied.
But also, he kind of has that harder exterior with everyone else, too,
Yeah.
which I feel like is normal.
Do you think...
Which I kind of love, though.
Yeah.
I had a grumpy sunshine. But do you think that what he chose to hide about his injury was realistic? Like, do you think that was just
I think he'd
him
be in the
being-
hospital if not.
Right.
Like-
Do you think he made, like... I feel like it was very selfish.
I'm
like,
just a little
yeah.
confused also about what the heck his injury was.
so
where
he
couldn't
pulled something,
correct.
had the surgery to fix it.
And it
because,
infected it, right?
Well, the
Essentially?
surgery, like, there was
I know he
something that
pulled
was
it back
like
open
a
or
nerve
something.
that was pinched on, which was why he was having so much pain in that area.
Whenever he was doing things.
Yes. Because things were like pinched. Like the reconstruction of it was not well done. Or he did things like his overuse of his like body when he should have been resting messed up the surgery.
Yeah.
Which I guess like at that age, because I have such a hard conflict because at school, when we have a middle level sport, they can be pulled up to
Yeah.
varsity, but they're only supposed to be pulled up to varsity, not JV. So it's either like all or nothing.
Oh.
And I just have a really hard time. Like, I don't have kids who play sports yet, but like from a teacher perspective and knowing where kids are developmentally, I have a really hard time seeing a 7th grader competing with varsity
Senior.
level sports.
Yeah.
Right.
Because mentally, socially, emotionally, they're all
Physically.
in physically in a very different place.
Yep.
And like
That's
the
not okay.
pressure that he had, like starting at such a young age to be in that academy, like of course he's gonna make dumb decisions and like put
Yeah.
himself in harm's way.
Yeah, he has no judgment.
No,
Like, they
because
don't-
he's so young. But like that's like the norm.
And I
for
was
the
also
sport.
like, he put that on himself. Like, I was
Right.
very happy, like, he didn't have one of those dads or moms that like pushed
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
No, he put
His
that
mom was like,
all
"You're an
on
idiot. What are
himself.
you doing?"
all
Yeah.
on himself. But it was that image that was created from the professional level, and I
Right.
think that's still kind of an issue in some places. Like pushing this down on athletes, like kids getting drafted as soon as they get out of high school,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
not everyone has to go to college. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that like
Right.
your frontal lobe doesn't fully
Till 25.
until you're 25.
Right.
And so like being able to make sound decisions that's going to like be best for your body. So
It's not
it's just,
there.
I feel like there was a lot of pressure on him.
Do you think she made it that injury because it was the it was the easiest to hide?
Maybe, but I feel
probably.
like there's other injuries that are pretty easy to hide.
Yeah.
But also, I know, like, with groin injuries, like, with basketball, like, it happens a lot in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because Brandon watches a lot of basketball, and they're out for, like, weeks. So, I feel like that was correct.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I've ever seen somebody have surgery on it. So, that part just didn't make sense to me. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
guess, like, in some cases, if you tear, like, if it's, Caleb tore his something, and it was less than a 30% tear,
Oh.
or a 30-degree tear, whatever, I don't know.
I don't know.
But because of that, he did, what is it where they take your blood, and then they put it back in?
Oh, plasma?
They did plasma instead of, like, rehabilitation.
Okay, yeah.
So, I guess it depends on the
Degree.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's interesting.
Okay, how does Johnny and Shannon's relationship develop? Do you think it's realistic or too idealized?
Is
mean-
this realistic? I literally put that.
I thought it was pretty realistic. Like, I felt like he was protecting her and did, like, everything he could to protect her. I thought it was really sweet whenever he gave her his phone so he could contact her. I was like, that was adorable. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
You want to just cut that out so it's
Yeah.
not a.
That was keeping 13. That
Yeah.
was so sweet.
I was like, I don't remember that part.
That was so sweet, though.
I think it was realistic because it's also like he obviously fell first, and she like couldn't see how she was worth anyone's attention.
Yeah.
But he continued to like pursue her and just protect her. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it was fast paced at all.
No, they didn't kiss till like page 550.
And I just think like the emotional side of it
Yeah.
was well developed because of the trauma that they,
Yeah.
like she was going
Yeah.
through and what they bonded over.
Well, trauma makes you bond faster as well.
Right.
So, like, it may have not been realistic to some people, but, like, once you're trauma bonded, you're bonded for life. You
But
know what I
also-
mean?
On the flip side of that, like I feel like it could make you bond quickly, but also doesn't make you not trust people.
I mean, once
Like
you
I think I would be like,
show-
I ain't trusting anyone now. You know?
Well, I think she was like that initially until he proved that he could be trusted.
She was like that like 3/4 of the book.
Right,
Yeah.
until he proved that he could be
Right.
trusted.
And then she was like, okay, I'm all in.
yeah,
Right.
like,
That's fair.
And then that's when it kind of was just like, oh, like all of these feelings.
I still
are
kind of
real.
feel like I'm
Yeah.
like that now. Like, I don't trust easily, but once I trust you, I
all
trust you.
in.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
once you earn my trust, you have it. So, I feel like that's probably what that was more like.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
How does Binding 13 explore themes of privilege and socioeconomic difference between Shannon and Johnny?
That's a hard question.
Really? I guess, like, would you expect people from two different places like that, I guess, to develop the relationship that they did? I guess that's what that's getting at.
Well, I feel like when they're at school and they're all wearing the same uniforms and stuff, he didn't.
Right.
I don't think he knew initially that she was
Right.
as
No.
destitute as she was.
No.
So
I don't really think she was even like poor or anything.
Well, her mom worked like 2 jobs and they couldn't afford like
The dad
wasn't
leaving
there
money at the pub.
Yeah, and then wasn't there a point where like she was like I can't even afford the bus to get to school.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then he always paid for her.
it makes me wonder if they were in like a normal school and he saw like how she really dressed and whatnot, if there would have been more of a divide there.
Right.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can see
that's
that.
true.
You know what I mean? Like
the-
he saw her as just a
The
normal school.
formality of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
A
they
schoolmate.
did have that meet cute. So
Oh my gosh. Almost getting killed.
yeah,
And then mom being like, "You messed my daughter up."
yeah.
She was
But
just
also,
psycho.
she was just protecting her because she thought she might have been getting bullied again.
Yeah, but she's
Yeah.
not protecting her at home. So
Right. But
it's a little
also,
hypocritical.
I'm gonna say I do kind of see where the mom's coming from because she was also getting abused. So, but I'm all for like kids first. So, but I'm just saying you got to give her a little bit of grace because she was also getting abused.
See, I feel like
You know,
like in Great Alone, the daughter was a little bit abused, but it was more the relationship between the parents that
Yeah.
was an issue, and she got like hit like once. But I feel like in this one, it's one thing for the wife to go back because she loves
Yeah.
the husband so much, but in this case, it's like you're literally seeing your kids literally almost die. Like I feel
Right.
like there's
Correct.
like there comes a point where it's like, all right, now you can, like we're done, you know?
yeah. But also, you got to think like he's probably emotionally abused her to the point where she physically probably cannot leave. You know what I mean? Like
I also,
once they wear you down enough, like
yeah, I think something is wrong with her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
well, yeah.
Probably.
just because of her response to all of the situations.
She's probably like so beyond checked out
yes,
of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I think it's just hard as a parent to read that and
yeah.
be like,
No, for sure it is. As a parent,
Like
it's
how?
definitely hard. Like
it's one thing to fight
But
for your marriage,
also-
but to not fight for your kids.
you
I
never
just-
know until you're like you've
In
gone
it.
through
Yeah.
those years of abuse. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it messes you up. Like to this day, my mom still will not talk about any of it. She won't even go to
Really?
therapy. So
Were there instances where he beat the wife, or was it just the kids?
No, there.
I
Now
don't
that I
remember
think
if
about
there
it, I
was
don't
any
remember.
on page.
Wasn't it the end?
No, he beat Shannon, and
I
then
know, but
Shannon.
I thought,
Who
didn't
hit
the
him
mom
back?
actually try and step in though?
No,
No.
she came in at the last minute when they're both on the
Joey
floor, and
came
she
in,
hit.
and then
was it Joey that hit him?
and Ty?
Yeah, but Joe.
Yeah, Ty.
put the knife to his throat.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
Joey. Yeah,
because
because
Joey
Joey came
took-
in.
Joey took him
and-
down and was like, "You're done."
and took her to the hospital.
But Joey
Yes.
was like not able to get up. He was the one because Tag was the Tog or whatever his name is was
Yeah.
the one that finally got the dad off of
Yeah.
Joey because
Okay, yeah.
Shannon was literally about to die.
But the wife
If-
wasn't beaten. The wife came in right, and then chose.
but did it? No, that's what caused the miscarriage.
Was she? I don't think it was on page, but
it wasn't,
but it was
but it was
implied.
allu-
Okay.
it was implied.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It was
So there
that-
was physical abuse
yes,
of the
it
wife.
was
if there
that.
is physical abuse of the kids, 99.9% of the time there's
It's the
physical
wife,
abuse of
too.
the wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wife 9 times out of 10 gets it worse than the kids.
Yeah, and she
But
talks
behind
to-
closed doors.
But behind
most of the
closed
time.
doors most of the time.
She
yeah.
talks about the kids not being a target yet until they turned a certain age.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it was just Shannon
And
and,
Joey.
Joey. at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and Darren prior too.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Which she's probably also. I will give it to the mom. So I mean, I'm trying to like give her some credit. When she decided to give her children up because it was just the three of them at the time.
Yeah.
Like
That was when Darren had all
that
those
was
issues
when
in the
all of
home.
that started, and when the dad started beating them, and that was when she made the decision to like try and figure it
Leave her-
out.
Yeah, have her
and
kids leave.
I really don't think if anything had have happened to Darren,
It would have.
it would have.
They would
turned
have
out that-
stayed.
Yeah, they would have stayed.
Yeah.
So I
true.
give her that. Like she,
Tried initially, and
Tried.
then it was like, well,
but that also just shows you the situation she was in and why. Like the fact that she was willing to give her kids up and not just leave her husband.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it must have been that bad.
Well, because most of the time guys like that, they'll find you.
Right.
And they don't go to jail for
oh,
long.
that
so.
movie, Is It Enough with Jennifer Lopez?
Uh-huh.
I know that movie.
She has an abusive husband and she has a
Yeah.
little girl, and they move, and like she like hides her identity, and
That one
he
is
ends
such
up
a good movie.
so good.
So
he ends
good.
up finding
I know
her,
it.
and she basically trains herself so that she can kill him, like
Yeah.
to protect
Oh, it's
herself.
great. You need
And
to
like
watch
sets
it.
herself up to like meet him again. It's really good. It's an older movie.
Yeah.
It's really old.
It is.
That sounds good though.
but it's good.
Well, are we done being sad now?
Yeah, this was a heavy episode,
Yeah.
but
We can
I
move
feel
on
like
to lighter things.
there wasn't much
I'm glad
good,
we-
happy in the book. Gibbsy
Glad
was
we
like
read
the comic
it.
relief.
Gibbsy is the funniest.
Riddick.
person.
He's the Riddick of
He
Binding
is
13.
Riddick.
Or Carrion.
Carrion.
I do
I-
think it was a good alternative to what people assume is romance. And
Correct.
if you go in thinking it's going to be a romance, it's not.
It's
Obviously,
very high subplot romance, but it's more
Yes.
it's more domestic abuse
Yeah.
theme.
But I'm happy it's being brought
Shown. Yeah.
Yeah,
to
for
attention
sure.
because I don't think many people would relate to it had they not read the book. You know what I mean?
right.
That and how many people are going to pick it up if they just think it's about domestic abuse?
Right.
People are like, "Oh, it's a cute like." I
Yeah.
went into it thinking it was just a normal
I
romance.
didn't think it was going to be this.
No,
much.
heavy.
Yeah. It's
So
heavy.
maybe she wrote it and is advertising it that way so that people are like, I didn't realize this when I was
but people
reading
are
it.
ending up loving it. It's good
Yeah.
and it's
It's
very
really
well
good.
written. It's just
Very
a
good.
It's
lot.
trigger warnings.
I wonder. I'm curious to know if she wrote anything else like outside of the Tillman Boys.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I,
couldn't-
think so, but I don't think
Okay.
it was anything big. I was also going to read a review on Fable. Let's see. 5-star. This is Smut Fantasy Hoarder on Fable. So this book is triggering. It could not be labeled YA. I cried so much. I don't know why it's YA.
I don't know why.
What?
Well, I think
It
it
is
has to, I think they label
because
YA
they're-
because of the age, not because of the content.
I would absolutely never let
She
my
does have
child read
different
this book.
books. The End game, waiting game, truth game. Oh, that's a sports.
Football on a beach. Oh.
Oh,
I
that
wonder if they're as heavy as this one.
that looks. Girl,
Break my fall.
fall to pieces, fall on me,
Oh,
forever
there's,
fall. Oh, she writes a
treacherous.
lot.
Oh.
This must have just been the first one.
Okay,
that kinda
well,
hit.
we're
that
gonna
hit,
have to
yeah.
look at some of those.
Oh.
I don't want to give away spoilers, but the meaning behind the title, laughing face.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that was funny.
I hate Bella.
Bella's awful.
Yeah.
Hate
She's horrible.
Bella.
She's
We
terrible.
need to update our ranking.
Yeah, we will do that.
She wasn't on it. I went back and watched it because I was curious.
Yeah.
It's I don't
I don't
know.
think
It's
we did
really
that
funny.
No, I don't think we did.
No, and what I noticed when I watched it back was a lot of the sub characters really weren't that big of characters, and so even the ones that like were on our thing, I was
Yeah.
like, I really don't know much. Like
Yeah.
Huey,
Yeah.
like I was like, there's not much
Yeah.
about him. That was what
Gibsy,
Claire's
like,
brother, maybe.
Yeah, Claire's brother.
You know, like whatever.
Yeah.
But then looking back at like what we thought about Shannon, we're like, she looks like a tiny little,
Yeah.
girl or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, she kind of was, but a lot more,
Yeah.
a lot deeper than that.
Definitely.
So I don't know. I thought it was great, but
I loved it.
definitely heavy, and I would not recommend it to everyone.
Yeah.
No.
So
Take caution.
Now on to a more fun segment. So last
Moving
month we
on.
started a little TBR jar for each other,
Yeah.
and we picked. And so now we're gonna talk about
our picks.
our picks, and then we're gonna pick a new one.
I'm so excited.
So
Who
I'll go
wants to
first.
go?
I
Okay.
did
the things
which
Which
we
one? You
never
read-
got over, or the things we leave unfinished. No,
think
that's
it's
the
the
That's
things
Perfect
Perfect
Yaras.
Yaras. The things we never got over.
The
That's
things
what it
we
is.
never got
Oh.
over by Lucy Score.
They're all named so similar.
Yeah,
things
they
I can't
are.
remember.
I will say I liked it. I gave it a 3 though because I thought the MMC was a walking red flag. I just did not like the way he
Yeah.
interacted with the FMC.
The FMC's great.
I liked
And her daughter,
yeah.
fantastic.
I liked everybody but him. He was just kind of so bad and such a main plot. I didn't give it very high. And I probably won't finish the series. But I liked, and it was very long. It was like
It was
600
long.
pages.
I personally love the subplot of the like crime mystery
long.
part.
No, I thought that part was
That was
good.
cool.
I enjoyed that part. The only part I did not enjoy was
With
him.
He was like, he literally reminds me of someone who would like walk around with a gray cloud hanging over his head.
Oh yeah,
You know?
he definitely like
Raining.
cartoon gray cloud raining
Eeyore.
all over him. Eeyore,
Yeah.
but like worse.
Yeah, I can see that. He was not my
Yeah.
fave, but I like the rest of the story.
But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Probably not going to add that one to the
nah, I wouldn't.
No.
I thought she'd like it more than you would. I read Powerless by Elsie Silver, and I might not read another Elsie Silver.
No, okay.
You're
She
going
has go up.
to.
Is that the one that I read?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to try it.
I just gave her the wrong. She picked the wrong series to start with.
That was like 60 straight pages of smut.
It was
Smut. They're not
that
fairies.
bad. It was spice.
Spice.
Well written
Smut
spice.
just
at that.
means
I thought smut only meant with fae.
nah.
Well, it doesn't matter. It was hockey.
Smut
and
is like
ballet.
just
We need to
those
preface
scenes.
this by sharing that our scale of spice is not equivalent to Katarina's.
No, Katarina.
For every
likes-
2 chilies, she's about a
Mine's like a half.
yeah.
Katarina's like a banana pepper, and we're like habaneros.
Yeah, I would
Okay,
say that.
we're like habaneros.
You're not like all the way there, but
No,
yeah,
I'm
we're
not,
not
a
like
ghost pepper.
ghost peppers or
Heck
Carolina
no.
Reapers. We're like more
No.
than jalapeno, but like a habanero.
Flavor, but a little bit of spice.
You know? Yeah.
plot with a subplot of like a kiss.
Banana pepper. Pepperoncini. I'll give you pepperoncini. You know what I mean?
We'll give a subplot of a kiss.
I'm done. I'm done.
Just a little
You know what?
So-
though? Binding 13 was exactly that. Except
know-
he was weird in other ways. But it's fine.
So take that
Oh my
review
gosh.
with a grain of salt because
That is
Katarina
so
just
funny.
doesn't like
Okay,
spice.
but I'm not going to say it on here because, we're keeping it clean for the moms. But I told Kaylee some of the scenes that she made me read, and she was like, okay, that is a little spicy. So,
It's more of a habanero instead of a pepperoncini.
Yeah.
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 But it's fine.
So,
If you like a little bit of
Okay.
spicy spice, then read that one. If not, don't read it.
Okay, so take the spice out. Was it a good plot?
I didn't read the last 60 pages.
So you DNF'd it?
I skimmed it. Like, I know what happens. Like, I can tell you everything that happens in it.
She read
But also,
dialogue.
dialogue.
I did. Actually. It was fine. I didn't see their chemistry, honestly. That prior to any of that. I just didn't I didn't see their chemistry as much as I don't know. But then they had way too much chemistry. So take that with a grain of salt. It's fine.
Oh, well, I love listening to Katarina's interpretation of other books. So I pulled One True Loves. I'm one of those people that like I'll get in my head like I don't want to read a certain book or a type of book, and this one was just not on my list. But I ended up really liking it. I just read a 1-star review where this girl was like, he should have stayed dead.
Which totally is you.
But it's so me because I was like, oh my God, this guy's getting on my nerves so
That is
bad.
so funny.
I think people are going to be torn. Like, what side? Like, essentially, if you didn't listen to the last podcast episode, One True Loves is this girl marries her high school sweetheart. They like do all the fun things. They travel the world. They're journalists, whatever it may be. And her husband leaves on her birthday and dies in a helicopter crash, supposedly off the Pacific coast. 3.5 years goes by. She's gone back home. She's like established in her life because she had already like started wanting to be something different.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting engaged to this guy she was friends with all in high school. Like they were best friends.
He's precious.
He's precious. And
Friends to lovers.
lo and behold, the husband shows up. And I was like,
and none of that
no.
spoilers. Like that's like
No.
pretty much
It's the plot line.
Yeah.
But he just like he expects everything to go back to normal. And I had a hard time being like, from what I feel like, because I was looking at it from the outside, like I knew she has changed. So you need to move on. I don't know. It had me just like my wheels going because I was like, I can't decide what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it from his perspective, he's on this island for 3.5 years. In his
Right.
mind, like I want to get
He's
back to
going
my
home.
wife,
Right?
And
But
now
she's already
engaged
decided
to someone else.
and he's dead. Like grief
I don't know what
That's
you do.
so hard.
changes
both
a
ways.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not thinking that your spouse is ever coming back. Like you become a different person after that.
It's like a whole existential question. Like, what do you do? I don't know what you do.
because like just
That'd be
from,
horrible.
Like
I
when my best friend from high school lost her dad right before we started college, and her mom still isn't with anyone.
Yeah.
But then I've seen the reversal of that.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I was like my brain was just she
That's
got
crazy.
I feel like that was such a simple story, but with so much depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really liked it. It was a good read.
All of her books.
And
are
I
amazing.
listened to it. It was only 8-hour audio.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, no, that's
and
not bad.
her voice was really like just nice to
Really
listen
good.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice. All right, Mackenzie, you go first.
Okay, I'm nervous.
This is for next month.
I
We'll
hope
see.
it's Twilight. I'm just kidding. Okay.
What'd you get?
Oh, I got more than one. Hold on. Oh, is this more than one, or is this?
That's one.
Oh,
Yay!
Okay, Abby Jimenez.
Oh.
Yours truly.
Nice.
Yay.
Okay, good.
Okay, I've been wanting to read one of her
That's
books.
such
Yeah,
a good
I
one
like
too.
it. Do you have it?
I have.
That's
I
the
do
blue
have
cover,
it.
right?
No,
It's
no,
the
no,
red
red.
cover.
Red cover. Is
Is
this
that the
first
doctor
one?
and the nurse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Is this the first one in the series?
I think so.
You can read them out of order. I didn't read them in order.
Oh, okay.
Like it's fine. They're standalones.
I'm excited.
That's a good one.
That is
Go
a
for
good
it.
one. Okay. Okay, I got One True Loves.
No way.
I'm done.
What are the chances of
Oh
that?
my gosh. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I might listen to it on audiobook since you said it was
and
a good
I listened
audiobook.
to it on
When
like
you know the
1.5.
gist at least now.
Yeah.
I listened to it on 1.5. We were
Okay.
cooking.
That is
Okay, word.
so funny.
I'll listen to that while I'm.
That is so
hilarious.
funny.
Are you like happy you pulled it or kind of like, oh, that's kind
Well,
of
I
annoying?
mean, now we can actually talk about it next episode
That's
without
true.
trying to give
True.
too many spoilers
That's true.
away to me.
That's
All
true.
right.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Please be Twilight.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's not one of mine.
Oh, Wilder.
Oh, yay. Okay.
I have it. Oh, that's perfect. I can cross that off my TBR jar. too.
Yay! That was a
Yay,
good
I'm
one.
excited.
These were good pulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these were good
I like this
pulls.
game.
I do too. This is fun.
This is fun.
I was worried it would like add too much, but I feel like it's like
No,
just
it's
fun.
fun.
No,
It's fun.
It's good.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
hilarious that you got that.
I know. What are the
What are the
chances?
chances? Like you just spent 10 minutes talking about it.
I'm interested to know your take though, like listening
Yeah.
to it because,
Well, I mean, you had me intrigued, so now I'm
Yeah.
like,
but like it's fun because she
You see her
from
perspective.
both
Yeah.
perspective, and she'll like it's really good.
okay, I'm excited.
It's really good.
Okay.
I think you like most of her books, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't read anything by her yet. So
She has not come out with anything in 3 years, but something comes out
Oh.
in April. So
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, I've read them all, but they're so good.
Well, catch
Nice.
us next week when we
Yeah.
talk about our
Autobies.
auto by authors.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
read the April book with us.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a good
Charles
one.
McQueen.
I will.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Next month's going to be a good month.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Okay, we'll see
Bye,
you next
guys.
time.
Bye, guys.